Today I want to talk to you about how to play Chopin's Fantaisie-Impromptu faster but with less effort. So I'll be needing Chopin's Fantaisie-Impromptu and a ball. Let's get started. So last week I got a really great comment on one of our videos, which was about how to play faster with less effort. So if you haven't seen the video yet, I'll link it in the description box below. The video is about something that I call circle technique and how that can help you play the piano with your whole body as opposed to just with your fingers. I show this technique on a 5-note scale, on a 5-note exercise. But of course, there are not many pieces that just incorporate a 5-note scale, right? Pieces themselves are more complex and different. So how do I apply this circle technique to my own pieces? And the answer is, well, you have to start simple. You have to start at the beginning. You don't start at the end. So first you have to integrate the circle technique, and then the next step will come more natural. Because I honestly never think about circle technique. That's nothing I ever think about. It is so part of my body when I play piano that I've never thought about it unless I have to explain it to a student. What I do think about, however, is about momentum and direction. And that's, of course, you guessed it, where the ball comes in. So when you bounce a ball, and this is really like, I'm a very visual thinker, so this is really how I think. So you bounce a ball once, and then it just keeps on bouncing. So I lost even count, but it gave me what, like 7 bounces? Let's say it gave you 6 bounces. With one time effort, gives you 6 bounces. And that's how I think about piano playing. Yes, really. So I don't think about individual notes requiring individual movements with my hands. I analyze a passage and think, where do I need to put effort and how many bounces, so how many notes can I get from that effort? And before I show you actually how to apply the bounce balling technique to the Fantaisie-Impromptu, I want to ask you a question, quick question on a different topic. Do you fix your mistakes like this? You make a wrong note and you fix it on the spot? Dimitar and I used to do it too. In fact, most people do it this way, but it's actually the wrong way of fixing your mistakes and it can really hold back your piano playing. If you want to know more about that, I don't want to disturb this video, so just check out the link in the description box below. Dimitar and I made a course called The Mistake-Proof Pianist that explains how you have to fix your mistakes. And you can also now watch the first 2 lessons of that course for free. So just, if you're interested in that, check out the link below. But for now, let's go back to the video and let's explore how we can think about the bouncing ball. So one-time bouncing and using that energy in the Fantaisie-Impromptu. So let's take a look. So let's take first a look at bar 13 because it's a little bit easier to show it on this bar. It's a little bit less complex. So you have these 4 groups of 4 notes in each bar, right? So the first thing that I would try to do is to analyze, are those 4 groups going to be a similar type of movement? Could I play them in the same momentum, like put effort once and then play all the notes of the group in that same kind of movement? So if you look at that, you have the thumb and then you have 3 other notes. And you also have an accent on the thumb, which actually helps give you momentum, right? So I go from thumb to pink, so that in other words is under, right? I'm going the under part of the circle, and while I'm making that movement, while I'm still on the pinky, which is kind of up, and you see my elbow, my arm is also rotating there to bring my weight over to my pinky, I play these 2 as well. I don't play them as a separate movement. So that would, if I played them as a separate movement, that would look like this. And I would need to create an attack movement for each note, right? That's how that would look. But if you want to play with the hand, and that's where the circle movement kind of becomes integrated, right? I don't think about a circle movement. I only think about direction and analyzing how many notes can I play with this movement. So in this case, I can play 4 notes with 1 movement. That saves me the effort, right? Get 4 for the price of 1. It saves me effort. So I only put effort on the thumb, and the rest I play in that movement. And if you look, it does align with the circle movement. I don't think about it, but it does exactly align with the circle movement. It's not a 5-note scale, but it still goes in the direction of the thumb. And these are played in the same movement. It also musically aligns because if you think about it, what's the melody here? Right? That's the melody. That's what the melody is, so that aligns. You are looking to make a decrescendo, because if you make that would interfere with the melody. So the movement fits also the musical phrasing, which is, you'll see that actually, it aligns, right? That's why we can't work only technically, we also have to look musically. So we put the effort once, and we go in the movement that the circle technique suggests. We do that the same for every. Because it's constantly moving from thumb to pinky. So that means that you move means that you move under part of the circle. And you don't move once this way and then once this way. It's not necessary. You can keep them in the same direction. You can keep your arm this way, you can keep your wrist tilted this way, and you can still play them. They barely cost any effort to play in this way. So let's take a look at something a little bit more complex. For example, in bar 7, that's more like a scale, right? So we're not really... we can still think about momentum, but in scales I usually think more in direction. Which direction am I going? I'm going sideways, right? So I need to make sure that my arm travels here. I need to be here with my arm. I cannot just be here with my pinky. So that's more what I think about, not circle technique. Obviously circle technique is not there in a scale, but still momentum and direction are always there. So instead of putting effort on every single note of this passage, think more, how many notes can I play with one movement? So it feels to me like I'm playing all these notes with the same movement, with the same effort, and that's my landing place. So I really feel like I'm making one movement going down towards the pinky again. Instead of trying to put effort on every single note. So one movement going under towards that pinky. That's one movement, and then obviously going down is another movement, right? Actually, now the groups get smaller. So this was one movement, kind of seven notes, the same kind of movement. Thinking about that momentum and thinking towards that direction, making sure your arm comes with, and then when you reach that high B, the movement gets smaller. I still feel like I'm thinking per 4 here, so I'm still giving momentum on the first note, going towards, and that's again under, because I'm going from my second to my fourth finger, right? It's the same direction, obviously, as the thumb to the pinky. Second to the fourth finger is the same direction. So and with that momentum, I'm still playing the other 2 notes, and then it comes again, same direction. I don't know if you're noticing, but the circle technique is there in the direction that my hand is taking. So when I'm going from the thumb to the pinky, whether I use those fingers or not, if I go in that direction, my hand goes in that direction. If I go in this direction, from the pinky to the thumb, I go over. If I go from thumb to pinky, I go under. If I go from pinky to thumb, I go over. So depending on what direction I'm going, it doesn't matter which fingers I'm using, the direction I'm going will determine the movement of my wrist. But I don't think about that. I only think in momentum and direction. I do try to analyze that because it will make me more efficient in my movements. So I really, for example, I think that if I would play it faster, because I'm playing it slow now, if I would play it faster, I would even try to do momentum, like a movement per 2 groups, just as I was doing with the scale, because in a faster tempo, that makes sense. So, and then I'm really actively playing towards this one, and then towards the F sharp. And now I'm having a bit of an ugly accent. I would practice that just to get the hang of the momentum, and I would musically decrease that so that it's actually beautiful. How to integrate the movement is first that it has to become a part of you. It takes time. If you want to do things properly and have a really, really good technique, we have an effortless technique. That's the thing with things that seem effortless, right? All those things that we covered, they actually require a lot of effort. Is that ironic? I hope this video was useful to you. Just let me know in the comments down below and let me and Dimitar know. Thank you very much for watching and we'll see you next week.